What if he ever came back? At 52, I wasn't yet ready to face that possibility. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty: I would never again be silent. If the day came when our paths crossed once more, I would have the strength to stand, to speak, to defend myself. Because by then, I had learned the most important truth of all: he had taken years of my life, but he had not taken me. At 72 years old, I can finally say these words without trembling: I am free. It took me decades to arrive here, through pain, silence, fear, and slow rebuilding. And yet, life has a strange way of balancing the scales. Sometimes justice comes not from courts or prisons but from the quiet hand of fate itself. For 20 years, I had lived a peaceful life after leaving the nightmare behind. My small herbal shop had grown into something more than a business. It became a sanctuary. People came not only for teas and remedies but also for advice, comfort, and companionship. Every jar of dried leaves, every bottle of homemade syrup, carried with it a piece of my survival story. My cousin became my closest friend, helping me run the store and the home we shared. I had a circle of women who met weekly in the back room, where we spoke of scars and survival, encouraging one another to keep moving forward. For the first time in decades, happiness felt natural. I even discovered companionship with a kind man who respected my past and cherished me for who I had become. With him, I learned that love didn't have to hurt, didn't have to dominate, didn't have to break me. It could simply be gentle, steady, supportive. Then one morning, as I arranged jars of ointments on the shelves, I heard a voice I knew too well. It was weaker now, trembling, but it carried the same undertone that had once commanded fear in me. I turned, and there he was, my son. Or rather, the shell of the man who had once ruled my life like a tyrant. He stood leaning on a cane, his body shrunken, his skin yellowed, his hair thin and gray. His eyes were hollow, desperate. Gone was the strong figure who once used his power against me. In his place was a broken man, ravaged by disease. He called me mother, his voice cracking. He told me he was sick, diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. That his body was betraying him, leaving him weak, unable to work, unable to care for himself. He begged for help, saying he had no one else in the world. For a long moment, I simply looked at him. I expected anger. I expected fear. Instead, what I felt was nothing. A cold clarity, a calm that surprised even me. I let him speak, about his suffering, his loneliness, his regret.